great war raging across the endless expanse of Eastern Europe, and where the golden sun meets the green fields, it is a litmus test for the world. And as the countries decide whose side they stand on, they are also deciding how they think the future of the world should be shaped. These decisions determines whether they prefer a dark, authoritarian and oppressive world or bright, democratic and purposeless one. Countries that choose to stand with Russia have on the agenda of more oppression and domination, while those who choose Ukraine choose light and commitments to democratic values. This war has become more than just a regional conflict. It has become a reflection of the ideological and political conflicts at the global level. Every decision is considered an important step that will determine how the future will be shaped. Units of the Ukrainian armed forces are launching intense and effective attacks deep into the darkness, known as the forces that choose the light, as we have often reported in our recent reports. In particular, the range of the Ukrainian army's effective and successful attacks inside the borders of the Russian Federation seems to have expanded. However, the Russian military's inability to counter these attacks is also quite remarkable. Recently, the Ukrainian armed forces carried out another drone attacks. Let's take a closer look at the details of this attack together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring the Russia-Ukraine war to your screens. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our daily reports. You can also support me and my hardworking team by using the super thanks button below the videos. Thank you in advance for your support, and let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. The struggle between the Ukrainian armed forces and the Russian armed forces continues in an extremely violent manner. The units of the Ukrainian armed forces are constantly inflicting heavy blows on the Russian army. As mentioned earlier, the Ukrainian armed forces have significantly increased their capacity to destroy targets on the territory of the Russian Federation. These attacks clearly demonstrate a serious decline in the defense capability of the Russian Federation. The recent weakening of the Russian Federation's defense capability allows the Ukrainian military to carry out more daring and effective strikes. Recently, drones launched by the Ukrainian armed forces have destroyed several targets in Russia, and in recent days, drones of the Ukrainian armed forces have once again entered the territory of the Russian Federation. Moreover, this time, their targets included a Russian military airbase. According to reports, drones of the Ukrainian armed forces targeted the city of Tangarong, located within the borders of the Russian Federation. The military air base in Tangarong is considered by military experts to be of critical importance. According to some sources, during this attack of the Ukrainian armed forces, the runway at the military air base was heavily damaged and became unusable for landing and taking off. In addition, according to some sources, the gas tanks inside the military airbase were also affected, but there was something even more important. As you may remember, Ukrainian sources had recently announced that an important Russian military spy plane, the A-50, had been shot down. However, the Russian sources denied this claim. Well, during this attack by the Ukrainian armed forces, the truth came to the light. Ukrainian military units had indeed targeted the A-50 military spy plane of the Russian military, and it was heavily damaged. According to some sources, as a result of the surveillance by the Ukrainian armed forces using unmanned aerial vehicles, this plane was located at the military airbase in the city of Tangarong. Therefore, the attack was directed to this region. There is a deep silence from the Russian sources regarding the latest attack. Although the Russian air defense systems are operating at full capacity, the desired results cannot be achieved. And the Russian citizens, especially those living near the Ukrainian border, have been very worried in recent days. However, it is not only the people living near the Ukrainian border who are in panic, but also those living in the interior of Russia. The growing capacity and reach of the Ukrainian army is frightening for the Russian population. This anxiety is not only limited to the possible attacks in the near future, but also concerns about the overall security situation in Russia. The city of Tangarong is located approximately 140 kilometers from the front line. For this reason, the Russian military initially kept important military equipment and aircraft around this city. However, the Ukrainian army's expansion of this range of action, especially with Storm Shadow missiles and drones, have threatened the Russian military with the loss of its reservists in this region. Russian sources fear that all the equipment could be destroyed if quick action is not taken, and have called on the Russian war leadership to move it elsewhere. The operation of the Ukrainian saboteurs have also been of a considerable importance recently. These sabotage groups have dealt significant blows to the Russian military with air attacks. While they may be seen by some as ineffective and incompetent, it would be misleading to think that these attacks are insignificant. Sabotage operations, especially in the areas inaccessible to the Ukrainian armed forces, call into question the performance of the Russian occupation. According to recent reports, Ukrainian saboteurs have again appeared on the Crimean Peninsula in recent days, and these saboteurs act like ghosts, appearing suddenly and frightening the Russian military and then disappearing. This prevents Ukrainian saboteurs from being caught by the Russian military. According to some local sources, Ukrainian saboteurs destroyed a Russian vehicle on the move. Well, there is not much information about the details, but according to our sources in the region, the latest information about the latest operation of Ukrainian saboteurs is as follows. In the morning, there was an explosion heard around Simferopol. There was headquarters and command centers of the Russian army there, and therefore it is a very active region. At any moment, you can see a Russian military vehicle anywhere. And I would say that this heavy Russian presence in Simferopol makes the region relatively safe for the Russian army. Well, as for the cause of the explosion, as I said, you can encounter a Russian military vehicle here at any time, therefore it is not difficult to target a military vehicle. A sabotage group planted an explosive device on the route of the Russian vehicle here. So far, the type of the explosive has not been determined, and however, as a result of the explosion, the armed vehicle was completely destroyed, and it's not known who was inside the vehicle, but judging by the panic in the Russian occupation forces, a very important person was in this vehicle, and they said that they have started an investigation. Of course, these investigations will be fruitless. It's impossible to catch the saboteurs. So what do you think? How do you think the increased target range of the Ukrainian army is affecting the front line? Do you think the Ukrainian army's drone strikes are effective? How do you assess the attacks of the Ukrainian sabotage groups? What could be the secret of the Ukrainian sabotage secrecy? Let me know in the comments, because you know that I read and I care about all of the comments.